Episode 8: Objectives, Targets, Plans and Indicators for Water. In the previous episodes, we built a practical water-focused environmental management system for BlueRiver. Now, let's see. We determined water-related aspects. We connected them with compliance obligations. We planned actions and decided where they should be integrated into operations. And now we move to the next question. Which issues should become formal environmental objectives? This is where BlueRiver moves from identification and control to performance improvement. So the goal is not to create objectives for everything. The goal is to choose the right priorities and manage them with clear targets, plans, responsibilities, resources, and indicators. Now, the sequence is important. Episode 5 helped BlueRiver understand where it interacts with water. Episode 6 helped BlueRiver understand which compliance obligations apply. Episode 7 helped BlueRiver decide what actions are needed and where they should be integrated. Now, Episode 8 helps BlueRiver decide which priorities require formal objectives and plans. This prevents a common mistake, creating objectives that are disconnected from real environmental aspects, compliance obligations, risks, opportunities, and business needs. Good objectives should not come from imagination. They should come from the logic of the EMS. An environmental objective is a result the organization wants to achieve. For BlueRiver, that result may be about reducing water consumption, reducing wastewater variability, reducing losses during cleaning, improving water reuse, or improving control of contractor activities. So, a good objective is not just a nice environmental slogan, okay? It should be connected to something that matters. So it may be connected to a significant environmental aspect. It may be connected to a compliance obligation. It may respond to a risk or opportunity. It may support environmental policy, and it should make sense for the business. So for BlueRiver, water is both an environmental issue and a business issue. So water objectives can support environmental performance, operational efficiency, cost control, resilience, reputation, and continuity of production. BlueRiver should not select objectives randomly. It should choose priorities based on evidence and judgment. So, if water withdrawal is significant and the site operates in a water-sensitive area, reducing water use may be a strong priority. If wastewater results are usually compliant but highly variable, reducing chemical oxygen demand variability may be a priority. Now, if cleaning in place consumes too much water, creates losses, and increases wastewater load, reducing cleaning in place losses may be a priority. And if water reuse is technically and legally feasible, increasing reuse may become an opportunity. So the question is not, can we create an objective? The better question is, which objective would make a real difference? Routine control or objective? Yeah, because not everything becomes an objective. Okay? So when we think, is a routine control or objective? So the distinction is essential. So not every action should become an objective. If BlueRiver needs to inspect chemical storage, that is routine control. If BlueRiver needs to sample wastewater according to a permit, that is compliance monitoring. If contractors need to use a work permit, that is contractor control. These are important, but they do not automatically need to become environmental objectives. An objective is more appropriate when BlueRiver wants to improve performance. For example, reducing water use per liter filled, or reducing chemical oxygen demand variability in wastewater discharge, reducing losses during cleaning in place, increasing water reuse where technically and legally feasible. So, episode 8 is about choosing the improvement priorities, not converting every control into a target. Now, water objectives should not be isolated from business strategy. So, for BlueRiver, water performance can support several strategic priorities. So, for example, reducing water use improves environmental performance, but it may also reduce costs. Reducing chemical oxygen demand variability improves wastewater control, but it may also show better process stability. And reducing cleaning in place losses improves cleaning efficiency, but it may also reduce water, chemicals, energy, time, and wastewater load. And increasing water reuse may improve resilience, especially if water scarcity or drought restrictions become more important. So, environmental objectives can support the business, and this is one of the strongest ways to make the EMS relevant to top management. Now, a strong objective usually needs more than one indicator. An outcome indicator tells us whether we achieve the result. For example, liters of water used per liter of product filled. A process indicator tells us whether the process is behaving as expected. For example, water used per cleaning in place cycle. A leading indicator tells us whether BlueRiver is doing the things that should create improvement. For example, the percentage of cleaning in place cycles reviewed and optimized. This is useful because outcome indicators often tell us what happened after the fact. Now, leading indicators help us manage before the result is lost. So, for each important objective, BlueRiver should try to define at least one outcome indicator, one process indicator, and one leading indicator. Now, this is not mandatory according to ISO 14001, okay? This is a good practice, okay? Now, let's start with a simple example, a simple objective, okay? So, BlueRiver may define an objective to reduce water use per liter filled. So, this is a strong objective because it links environmental performance with operational efficiency. So, the outcome indicator could be liters of water used per liter of product filled. A process indicator could be water used by production line, so BlueRiver can see which lines perform better or worse. And the leading indicator could be the percentage of weeks where abnormal water consumption is reviewed. The actions may include creating a water balance, detecting leaks, comparing production lines, reviewing cleaning practices, and engaging operators. This is much stronger than simply saying, well, let's reduce water consumption. And you know, I see that kind of option so many times while doing audits. Okay, so just a hollow phrase like reduce water consumption. Doing what? Okay. Now, a second objective may be to reduce chemical oxygen demand variability in wastewater discharge. So BlueRiver may already be compliant with discharge limits, but if the results are unstable, there is a risk. So high variability may indicate poor process control. It may also create future compliance risk if production volume increases or discharge limits become stricter. The outcome indicator could be chemical oxygen demand variability in discharge results. And the process indicator could be chemical oxygen demand load associated with specific production or cleaning activities. And the leading indicator could be the percentage of high-risk cleaning cycles reviewed. Now, possible actions may include reviewing cleaning in place recipes, improving chemical dosing control, improving pre-treatment monitoring, or defining escalation rules. No, this objective links environmental performance, compliance confidence, and operational control. Now, a third objective, reduce the cleaning place losses. Okay, so cleaning place is things like cleaning of tanks, pipes, valves, and equipment without dismantling them. For BlueRiver, cleaning in place can be one of the most important water related activities. So it uses water, chemicals, it may use energy, it generates wastewater, and if it's not controlled or well controlled, it may create unnecessary losses. So reducing cleaning in place losses can be a very good objective. So the target could be reducing water use per cleaning in place cycle by 15%. The outcome indicator could be water use per cleaning in place cycle. A process indicator could be the number of repeated or extended cleaning in place cycles. A leading indicator could be the percentage of cleaning in place recipes validated or reviewed. Now, this objective is practical because it connects environmental improvement with process efficiency. Now, let's see one last example. Water reuse, so increase reuse where feasible. So water reuse may be an opportunity for BlueRiver, but it must be handled carefully, okay? Because not all reuse is technically possible, not all reuse is legally allowed, not all reuse is appropriate for food or beverage operations. So the wording is important. Increase water reuse where technically and legally feasible. The outcome indicator could be the volume of water reused. A process indicator could be the number of reuse applications approved. A leading indicator could be the number of feasibility studies completed. Actions may include identifying potential reuse points, checking legal and quality requirements, assessing contamination risk, piloting one application, and monitoring performance. So this objective is useful because it encourages innovation without pretending that every reuse idea is automatically acceptable. Okay, so after defining the objectives, we need to have plans to achieve them. So an objective without a plan is just a wish. Some say it's a nightmare, okay? So for each environmental objective, BlueRiver should define what will be done, who is responsible, what resources are needed, when it will be completed, and how results will be evaluated. It should also define the indicators that will be used, okay? So the plan should connect with real business processes. So for example, cleaning in place objective belongs with production, maintenance, cleaning procedures, and possibly engineering. A wastewater objective belongs with production, utilities, laboratory monitoring, and environmental management. And the water reuse objective may involve engineering, quality, production, legal compliance, and food safety. So good objectives are cross-functional because environmental performance is usually created by the way the organization works, not by the environmental manager alone. It is helpful to keep a clear distinction between routine control and improvement planning. Wastewater sampling, is usually routine control. Meter readings are routine control. Chemical storage inspections are routine control. Spill kit checks are routine control. Contractor work permits are routine control. So these activities are essential, but they are part of maintaining control. Now, improvement plans are different. They are about changing performance, reducing consumption, reducing variability, reducing losses, increasing reuse, and improving resilience. Well, these are good examples of improvement. So both are necessary, but they should not be confused. So If everything becomes an objective, objectives lose meaning. Okay? Now, for episode 8, the working tool is an objectives and plans sheet. This sheet takes selected priorities and turns them into structured objectives. So, the priority explains why the objective matters. The objective defines the intended result. The target makes the result more specific and measurable. The actions explain what BlueRiver will do. The indicators show how performance will be followed. The owner defines responsibility. A deadline creates time discipline. And the evaluation explains how BlueRiver will judge whether the objective was achieved and whether the action was effective. So this is a simple tool, but it helps make objectives practical. Let's see. Let's see this example, okay, for BlueRiver. So the first priority is water efficiency. The objective is to reduce water use per liter filled. The target may be a 15% reduction. The indicators include liters of water per liter filled and abnormal consumption review. Okay, but we have also there the actions, the deadline, and the evaluation. And the second priority is wastewater stability. The objective is to reduce chemical oxygen demand variability. The target may be a 25% reduction. And the actions include reviewing cleaning in place recipes, dosing control, and defining escalation rules. Okay, and then we have there the indicators, the owner, the deadline, and how to evaluate. Okay. Third priority is cleaning efficiency. So the objective is to reduce cleaning in place losses. So the indicators include water per cleaning in place cycle and repeated cycles. And also, okay, how do we evaluate effectiveness? So lower water per cleaning in place cycle without compromising cleaning effectiveness. The actions: optimize rinsing times, validate recipes, operator training. The output of this episode is an objectives and plans worksheet. This worksheet helps BlueRiver focus on the water-related priorities that deserve formal improvement. So it defines objectives, targets, actions, indicators, responsibilities, deadlines, and effectiveness evaluation. The objective is not to measure everything. The objective is to manage what matters. And at this point, BlueRiver has moved from context, aspects, compliance obligations, and action planning into measurable performance improvement. Okay, so the next step is to make sure these priorities are embedded into operational control. So that means procedures, criteria, responsibilities, controls, monitoring, contractor requirements, and day-to-day discipline. So, let's close. Environmental objectives should not be decorative statements, okay? They should be management commitments. For BlueRiver, a good water objective should clarify what must improve, how much improvement is expected, by when, who is responsible, what actions are needed, and how progress will be measured. A weak objective says, improve water management. A stronger objective says, reduce water use per liter filled by 15% by the end of the year using water balance analysis. Leak detection, cleaning in place optimization, and weekly review of abnormal consumption. That is a very different level of management. So, the practical question is simple. What must improve? How much, by when, and how will we know? That is how objectives, targets, plans, and indicators turn environmental intention into performance improvement. If your organization needs support with the transition to ISO 14001:2026, or if you are looking to improve your current environmental management system, I may be able to help. I also support organizations that are starting from the beginning and want to implement ISO 14001 in a practical, business-oriented way. So you can contact me using the email shown on the screen or send me a direct message on LinkedIn.